Hi everyone, Hirsch here, still in Auckland, and Tuesday, the 27th of February 2024. So I guess it's come to this, another video on comedy from my past. I know I did one earlier, but I still, had a few jokes that came to mind that I could remember from various different occasions in my past, and not just, any old joke like most of the ones that I come up with on my own, but like, actually good jokes for a change, mostly made by other people, but certainly good jokes that were good enough to, I think, share with others. So here they are. Actually, it's about 10 of them, and I've made a list of them just to make sure I get them all right or to make sure I mention them all. Um, yeah, I remember going to a conference, an evening dinner with fellow co-workers. If I remember correctly, this was about 2009, and that's when I was in real estate. And I just remember sitting at a table amongst many having dinners with some close colleagues, and one person came up to the front to basically give a bit of a speech, and it was nice and all that, and he just suddenly yelled out, "Are you still there?" Just as if he'd lost our attention. And then one of my colleagues said, "Is that what your missus said?" I was like, "Oh my god!" But we all had a bit of a laugh with that one. And this one definitely is on me, and again, not one that I made myself, but one that I actually walked right into, which is more likely to occur. But I remember once back at high school when we had a bedroom renovated. This is in my family home or in my parents' old house, and actually that's right, which still stands today. But in the house, and we had a bedroom renovated, and I just remember seeing the cupboard seemed fine, but the handles on the cupboard were just awful, weird handles I've never seen anywhere before. And I remember saying to the builder, "Geez, I've never seen those handles anywhere before. They're just awful, I mean, gee, where did they come from?" And the builder looked at me and said, "Oh, those handles are actually from India." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, I guess maybe, yeah, maybe that's why I haven't seen them that often. Certainly not here at home." Um, and what's yes, another interesting one from back at school when I was 15 or back in the year 2000. I actually remember having a math class or maths, and it was last period on a Friday. I think I better not mention the names of the two boys who basically made a joke of themselves. I'll just call them Peter and Paul. And I actually remember, like, yeah, so last period on a Friday, you can imagine how we're all feeling and how we're just itching for the period to end so we can go home. But another boy, a prefect, if I remember correctly, suddenly walked in the classroom and said, "Okay, with a list of the following boys have been very naughty and must go see the principal at once." The list is Peter, and then Peter in the classroom, so, sorry, Paul in the classroom goes to Peter, "Oh," as in being very naughty. And then the prefect continued, "And Paul," we all just burst out laughing. He was on the naughty list as well, so I was pretty gutted there. Um, yeah, he's a bit of an odd one. I hopefully, maybe I shouldn't even mention, but hey, as I've already put, the video isn't exactly for kids. But I remember being back at school, and we're doing a project together with another, with some others. And I was saying to one of my friends, "Do we think we have everything we need, or we've got everything important for the project?" And he just trying to be funny, saying, "Oh, look, my testes are important, for what we're doing, and of course they weren't." And I remember telling another friend about that, and he said, "His testes are important. Jeez, it's like he'll ever need them." Jeez, I wish I thought of that at the time. I probably would have said that back to him. I remember also back at school when we were 14, so this was 1999, doing basically a school camp, basically a very long bike ride that was over 100 kilometers long. I still remember that today. And we did it over 2 days as well. And of course, we had mountain bikes because we're going over some fairly tough terrain. This was in New Zealand's Rimataka Ranges, which is east of Wellington, its capital city. The Rimataka Ranges, and going south down past Lake Wairarapa and then to Palissa Bay, which is the coast there, and going around, heading west all the way around the coast up to the lighthouse, which you can see from Wellington. So that area, if you know of the country or the city. But I remember doing this bike ride, and one of my friends, again, he's still a good friend of mine today, to this day actually. So I think I won't mention his real name, just call him Sam. But we all, of course, had proper mountain bikes for the ride, but for some odd reason, Sam, I don't know how, he bought this tiny little kid's BMX bike, uh, for a bike ride like that over 100 k's long on not the best terrain, and we're just all laughing, and he kept stuffing up with them. He's like, just trying to get it going. And I actually remember one of the older boys from another class who came along said, "Hey, let me know if anyone needs any help or if you need any spare parts, need a puncture change or anything like that. Just let me know." And this boy Sam said, "Oh, how about a new bike?" Because when you look at his, and I remember saying to my best mate at the time, Tom, who I still know to this day, I remember saying to Tom, "Where do you think Sam got that bike, honestly?" And Tom said, "It was probably his." And I remember thinking it's like he stole it from somewhere, but maybe it was his. you know. I remember, geez, back in Form 2, or what they now called Year 8, when we were 12, back in 1997, I remember, having to have our black shoes for school polished because it was a uniform school that I went to. And I remember one of the boys, better wipe that sweat off there. I remember one of the boys, not having exactly polished shoes. And, the teacher called him to the front of the class, and you'd think he would tell him off or something, but he actually just, I'm not joking, he went down on his knees, got out his portable shoe polish and polished the boy's shoes for him. Afterwards, he said, "Okay, you owe me 50 cents for that." 50 cents being half a dollar here in New Zealand. But he polished the boy's shoes right then and then. I remember the boy, let's call him Jim, he was like, what service? As the teacher knelt down on his knees and polished his shoes. This other joke, again, not probably one fit for kids, so it's good I put the video, labeled it on here on YouTube as not, suitable for kids or not for kids. But this other video, again, based on another real event, I remember me and a friend walking along Wellington, the capital of New Zealand, Wellington's beautiful waterfront, and by its museum, Te Papa. And there was a guy, doing magic tricks there for money, and there was a crowd around him, watching him do the magic tricks. And if I remember correctly, this was about 2010 or around there. But anyway, the guy was doing magic tricks. People were watching him, and he was doing one of those tricks where basically he gets someone to put a very thin hoop around his entire body all the way down to sort of his waist, and then he says sorry, not the hoop, sorry, my mistake, it was actually something similar. It was with rope. He said he gets a volunteer to tie rope all around him, basically to tie him up, arms and legs as well, as much as possible. And he says, "I guarantee you that no matter how much you tie me up, I can get out of it in 10 seconds or less." And so the volunteer was a kid, and he got the boy, to start, tying the ropes around him and all that. And, you're starting to put the rope sort of, like between his legs, up and down and around there. And, it was getting a bit awkward, and some people were giggling. And I think the entertainer, or the guy doing the magic tricks, was maybe trying to make the situation a bit less awkward or more comforting or less uncomfortable. And he was making a joke saying, "Whoa, boy, just be careful there, that's my ass on the line there, okay? No cock ups, okay? No cock ups, okay?" And then he said, "Hey, your cock up my ass." Obviously, he didn't mean it exactly how it came up, your cock up my ass, but he just meant just like the two separate terms, your cock up, your mistake, and that's my ass on the line there. But it came out like that, and I was like, oh my God, I feel a bit sorry for him, because there were parents with kids there watching, a lot of people watching, and that probably didn't go down very well. But he actually continued, and it wasn't so bad after a while. Hopefully, he didn't get in any trouble. I remember once at work. This is actually sorry, landlord's dog again, so just ignore him. I remember, this was a joke I made at work, but really not one I made, because I actually stole it from a friend of my brother who made it years earlier. But at least one joke that came out of me. I remember back at work. It's actually one of the very first jobs I had as a residential real estate agent in Wellington, and I was working in an office in its northern suburb of Johnsonville. This was back in mid 2007, just after I started work for the first time. And I remember just working, in one of our colleagues, awesome, funny guy, use his real name, called Richard. And he made a lot of jokes, and he was just mumbling some things. He was by the window, just mumbling some things. And he says, "I think the unemployed should make the laws in this country." And I said, "The unemployed? Well, they've got all day to make the laws." I had a good laugh, and so did my other colleague sitting next to me at the time, who I also still know to this day. One last joke, because this is probably not working much anymore. Theory of diminishing returns, I guess. But I remember back in French class when we were 13 in third form, or year 9. This was 1998. We're learning French at school, and the French teacher was teaching us the numbers in French, 1 to 100. of course, I can't remember how to count there, but I do remember some basic counting in French. Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, sept, 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 huit, neuf, dix. 1 to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, about 11 to 20. Okay, I guess I remember some of it. But coming back to the joke, I remember when he was teaching us the numbers 1 to 100, and he was sort of in the middle of going through the 80s. And we used to make fun of him a lot for being so old, I remember one student once saying to him, "Oh, sir, the French Revolution is good you survived that, isn't it?" Just hassling him about his age. But in this instance, when he was teaching us the numbers 1 to 100 and he was in the middle of the 80s, one of my best friends at the time, Tom, again, who I mentioned before, Tom said, "Oh, sir," looking at the board, and we're into the 80s, he said, "So we must be getting close to your age now." And the teacher looked at the board and said, nah, still a long way to go. So that's pretty cool. He actually made a better joke out of a joke that was made about him at first. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, without going too much into it, that's basically some more comedy from my past. If I can remember any more, I'll see if I can make a third video on it. But hey, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.